his panel of speakers, Professor Rangan Banerjee, Professor Santi Sri Pandit, Sri Shankarananji, and Professor Vinita Sahai to kindly come up on the dais and take their seats, please. Folders.
the draft regulations public, some people asked me, why are we bringing these campuses to India? How will it help? Definitely, as I said, knowledge flow from across the boundaries will help in broadening our skills and knowledge set. And when those campuses come here, it will provide healthy competition among our own institutions. And it will also provide an opportunity for us to foster stronger research collaborations between these international university campuses and our local universities and institutions. And you also know that every year 7 to 8 lakh students are going abroad. And perhaps double that number also may wish to go abroad, but they do not have the financial means. And when we have these foreign university campuses here, the first advantage is the living costs are almost nil because we are living in India. And most universities are also willing to give tuition concessions to Indian students. And many of these campuses will also have partial or full scholarship to the students. So therefore, even students from backgrounds who may not have good financial background also should be able to get admission in these universities and benefit. So friends, therefore internationalization today is also an important component of NEP 2020, and hopefully in another couple of years we should have some of our educational institutions setting up campuses abroad and some of the best foreign universities setting campuses here. And we, therefore, are practicing what we have been practicing for centuries and thousands of years. Knowledge has no boundaries, but we have the physical boundaries. So with those introductory comments, let me now invite Shri Shankaranand ji to present his comments. He has to leave early, so that is why I'm inviting him first. Please go ahead.
मंच पर उपस्थित और मंच के सामने उपस्थित सभी महानुभावों को मैं सादर प्रणाम समर्पित करता हूं। भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा का क्रियान्वयन शिक्षा के माध्यम से कैसा हो, इस विषय को लेकर मेरे मन में जो विचार है आपके सामने साझा करने का प्रयास करता हूं। इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम इसको शब्दावली को बदलना आवश्यक है, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। हो जाता है। ये दोनों के समन्वय से ही तंत्र ज्ञान का निर्माण हो जाता है। इसीलिए ये दोनों की आवश्यकता अभी शिक्षा क्षेत्र में हमको लाना है। सिस्टम और परंपरा दोनों अलग अलग है। परंपरा सिस्टम नहीं हो सकता। परंपरा हजारों वर्षों से अनेकों प्रयोग करते हुए अनुभूति के आधार पर निर्माण हुए एक उपक्रम है। वो संस्कृति के रूप में आगे चलकर परंपराएं परिवर्तित हो जाती हैं। इसीलिए भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा, यही शब्दावली का उपयोग अंग्रेजी में भी कई भाषाओं में हम इसका उपयोग करेंगे तो यही उपयोग होना चाहिए। आईकेएस निर्माण नहीं होगा अपने करिकुलम से, पेडागोजी से, तो निश्चित रूप से वसुधैव कुटुंबकम असंभव हो जाता है। इसीलिए ये हो रहा है क्या, इसको लेकर ये मूल तत्व जड़ है। दूसरी संवेदनशीलता है। संवेदनशीलता मनुष्य मनुष्य के बीच का संबंध को पवित्र कर देता है। इसी के कारण कोविड को हमने सामना कर पाया, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कम होते हुए भी। ये जब संकट आता है सब ये संवेदनशीलता जग जाती है, लेकिन सामान्य स्थितियों में भी ये संवेदनशीलता बनी रहे, इस दृष्टि से हमारा करिकुलम डेवलप हो रहा है क्या, ये भी हमको सोचना पड़ता है। ये यदि नहीं होता तो मनुष्य मनुष्य के बीच के संबंध बिगड़ जाते हैं। अभी शिक्षा क्षेत्र में इतनी स्पर्धा है, एक ही यूनिवर्सिटी में स्पर्धा बहुत है आपस में। स्पर्धा के कारण ईर्ष्या निर्माण होता है, इसके कारण क्रोध या भय दोनों में से एक निर्माण होता है। दोनों विनाशकारी है। इसीलिए स्पर्धा से मुक्त शिक्षा व्यवस्था को यदि हम लाना है तो निश्चित रूप से संवेदनशीलता को बढ़ावा देना चाहिए। एक विश्वविद्यालय, एक कुल बनना चाहिए, तब वहां के मुखिया गुरु बन सकते हैं। कुल गुरु तब वो सार्थक हो जाता है। इसीलिए परिवार बनना बहुत आवश्यक है। परिवार से ही संवेदनशीलता बढ़ती है, परिवार भाव के कारण। ये यदि निर्माण करने के लिए करिकुलम में हमको सोचना पड़ेगा। इन तीसरा मूल तत्व भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के न्यूनतम आवश्यकता, संसाधनों का उपयोग मेरे सुख के लिए न्यूनतम संसाधनों का उपयोग मैं कर सकता हूं क्या? ये बहुत मूल तत्व है भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा का। इसके कारण दुनिया के बहुत सारे समस्याओं को हम समाधान की ओर ले जा सकते हैं। यानी क्लाइमेट चेंज, पर्यावरण सुरक्षा, इसमें अंतर्निहित है। और ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, इसका समाधान इससे आता है। संवेदनशीलता से आतंकवाद का उत्तर है संवेदनशीलता में। ये न्यूनतम आवश्यकताओं में क्लाइमेट चेंज और ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, ऐसे बहुत सारे पर्यावरण से संबंधित समस्याओं का समाधान इससे हम प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। चौथा मूल बिंदु है, चार तत्व है भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के। चौथा बिंदु है कर्तव्य के प्रति जागरूकता। और जो भी मैं कर्म करता हूं कर्तव्य भाव से करता हूं, यह निर्माण होना है। और इससे भी परे होते हुए मैं जो मेरा कर्तव्य कर रहा हूं वो कर्तव्य से भी परे होते हुए उसको स्वभाव बना लेना चाहिए। कर्तव्य करते समय सोच समझकर हम करते हैं, लेकिन जब वो स्वभाव बन जाता है, बिना सोचे समझे अपने कर्तव्य के प्रति हम जागरूकता निर्माण कर सकते हैं। इसीलिए कर्तव्य भाव स्वभाव के रूप में परिवर्तित हो जाना, तब परिवर्तन हम समाज में और दुनिया में हम ला सकते हैं। ये चार बिंदु, राष्ट्रीय एकात्मता, संवेदनशीलता, न्यूनतम आवश्यकता और कर्तव्य के प्रति जागरूकता, ये चारों तत्वों को करिकुलम में हम लाने के लिए प्रयास करना चाहिए। ये मूल तत्व है। परिणाम क्या होना चाहिए? परिणाम फिजिकली स्ट्रांग, मेंटली प्योर, साउंड एंड पेट्रियटिक, इंटेलेक्चुअली क्रिएटिव, स्पिरिचुअली रूटेड, सोशियली प्रोडक्टिव। ये यदि परिणाम निकलना है तो ये जड़ को हम मजबूत करना पड़ेगा। ये जड़ मजबूत होंगे तो ये परिणाम निकलेगा। ये दोनों को जोड़ने वाली प्रक्रिया है, ये भी पवित्र होना पड़ता है। प्रक्रिया यानी पेडागोजी है। पेडागोजी को डिलीवरी करने वाले शिक्षक होते हैं। शिक्षक यदि इसको जीवन में नहीं उतारेंगे, केवल तोते के रूप में वो बोलते रहेंगे, तो उसका परिणाम नहीं निकलेगा। इसीलिए वो जो प्रक्रिया है, मूल जड़ों को मजबूत करते हुए जो चाहिए वो परिणाम निकलने के लिए, वो प्रक्रिया भी महत्वपूर्ण होता है। इसीलिए पेडागोजी भी सिखाना नहीं चाहिए और हर एक बच्चे को सीखने के लिए प्रेरित करना चाहिए। इसके लिए जो मेथडोलॉजी का अपनाना चाहिए वही पेडागोजी है। वो उपनिषद में बहुत स्पष्ट रूप से 12 प्रविधियां वहां उल्लेख किया गया है। अत्यंत प्रभावी ये पेडागोजी है। इस पेडागोजी को यदि हम प्रशिक्षण के रूप में देना प्रारंभ करेंगे, भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को जमीनी स्तर पर उतारने के लिए हम सफल हो जाएंगे। ये सब करते समय प्रैक्टिकली क्या करना चाहिए? भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा में बहुत समुद्र सागर जैसा भांडार है, लेकिन मैं उसको कन्फाइन करते हुए समग्रता से कैसे कर सकते हैं? जो करने से सारे आ जाते हैं, ऐसे 2 ग्रंथ हमको कोर्स के रूप में डेवलप करना पड़ेगा और बाकी सभी कोर्स में उसको समावेश करने का प्रयास करना पड़ेगा। भगवत गीता है बुद्धि की स्थिरता, पतंजलि योग सूत्र है मानसिक दृढ़ता। शरीर और मन ये दोनों सजग होना चाहिए और दृढ़ होना चाहिए। इसीलिए पतंजलि योग सूत्र अत्यंत प्रभावी साधन है। और भगवत गीता बुद्धि की स्थिरता और आत्मिक ज्ञान, आत्मज्ञान, ये दोनों आने के लिए भगवत गीता बहुत महत्वपूर्ण साधन है। इसको किस प्रकार हम डिलीवरी करेंगे, इसके आधार पर इस दोनों भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण जो संपत्ति है, इसके बारे में लोगों के अंदर रुचि निर्माण हम करने में सफल हो जाते हैं। इसीलिए इन दोनों को बढ़ावा देना चाहिए, क्योंकि सारे दर्शन, वेद, उपनिषद ये सभी भगवद गीता में अंतर्निहित है। इसीलिए इसको हम लागू करते हुए हम भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को व्यावहारिक धरातल पर प्रभावी ढंग से हम उतार सकते हैं, ऐसा मुझे लगता है। सभी को मेरा प्रणाम।
Thank you, Shankaranand ji. I have taken one panelist from the left side. Now I will take one from the right side. Professor Shantishri, please go ahead. You have 4 minutes.
Respected Chairperson, as I have just 4 minutes, and my fellow panelists and ladies and gentlemen. So I have to speak on internationalization of higher education. Let me first congratulate NEP 2020 because it has raised the aspirations in higher education. Why? The UGC and the other organ have promised 25% seats over and above the Indian quota so that we can get foreign students in universities where they can come in. Second is, if we want to replicate Nalanda and Takshashila, my question is, we need to understand whether we are going to be unique or universal. I am for the STEM subjects, but I think when we talk of internationalization or any of these topics, we just forget the humanities, languages, and the social sciences. And I think we need a holistic, because Nalanda and Takshashila were known for their narrative power. You must have all read the Tao of physics. It was not due to scientific discoveries that you came to know quantum physics. It is because of Buddhism and Hinduism, especially Advaita and Dharmakirti and Nagarjuna's Shunyata. So what I'm trying to say is, we need a holistic perspective, which is India's advantage. We have to be different. My other thing is, I congratulate the UGC for its credit recognition, twinning agreement, the global citizenship approach, the ICT-based internationalism. But also, I would like to say some of the greatest mathematician, the greatest was Srinivasa Ramanujam. He failed the 12th standard. So how are we going to put originality with university learning? Does it mean, like what Bernard Shaw said, my education was continuous except with the interruption of school and college? So we have to be very clear what do we mean by that. My other point I want to place before you is, I would say rather than just say STEM, you must have a Bharatiya narrative architecture, which includes everything. I'm not saying remove one, the other. Hindu, Buddhist, Jaina, even the Tamil traditions. And I'm also for brand building abroad, and as well as getting our students here. I would only like to differ a little here, sir, to bring to your idea that the best universities do not set campuses abroad. Let me tell you, the 5 Nobel Prize winners of India, leaving the literature ones, I'm talking about came from universities like the Presidency College, MS University, you had Ramakrishnan, Punjab University, and JNU. None of the campuses that are going abroad. So we need to think, where are we, where is the gap? The other will be the Alumni Connect, Office of International Affairs. And finally, I would say, sir, that infrastructure is the greatest challenge. Our public universities are one of the best in the country. I do not agree that private universities help compensate, but they have not been able to take over what public universities have done. Let me say all of them, and including JNU, we are the ones who implement the Prime Minister's revolutionary program of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, and Sabka Prayas. Thus, our 20 rupees mein we are giving education. Can Harvard compete with me? So rankings, and let me also say, JNU has 5 subjects where we are in the top 50 in the world rankings. I want to know whether STEM subjects are there. And I would say private sector has failed India. It is not the public sector. Private sector, unlike America, Great Britain, and the West, CSR is not enough. They have to invest in education. If they are exploiting our market, if the Prime Minister has made it into the 5th largest economy, I think those people who benefit from this need to reinvest into society and into education. Thank you so much. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now let's move to Professor Vinita Sahai, Director, IIM Bodh Gaya. You have 5 minutes. Left side people get more time.
So, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Today what we're going to talk about is something which Shankarananji started with such great words that possibly it will be very difficult, and in any case we know that two of the most difficult things to do is to climb a wall which is leaning towards you and to speak after a orator who has done a great job. But nevertheless, here I am. Ma'am also mentioned about Nalanda. I come from Nalanda, the land of Nalanda, the land of enlightenment, the land of Buddha. So IKS is something which is very close to our heart. IKS is something which we feel that we are custodian about. Now, I think Dr. Srivastava was very clear when he mentioned that I've made sure that I've used the word implementation at the title itself. So honoring that word, let me go straight away to that part, that though we claim that we come from that legacy, and as I said, I've actually gone and stood in the grounds of Nalanda where IKS burned for 6 months, is what I heard. I still go to the mutt very nearby where I see rooms and rooms full of palm leaves. They call it Tantra. And given what I have learned over life around Tantra, I still look at it with a lot of suspicion. Is it Tantra? Because I do not understand that. I look at those leaves even today in the IKS stall. I was looking at the leaves. They were all in Sanskrit. Back home, I either see it in Pali or I see in Sanskrit. Again, my problem is I come from a standalone business school. So we only do business, unlike most of you, where you are already dealing with a lot of faculty. So when we took it on that, okay, let's try and see how we can implement it. We have a short journey. We are still a young school, just 7 batches graduated. What I've learned from my experience, I'm quickly going to share with you. Yes, IKS is important because coming from the scenario where I come from, we do get about 2% of India's MBA aspirants highly left-brained. So anything which doesn't hit their logic, their scientific mind, they just don't agree to it. Attitude is always to push boundaries, to make their things happen their way. Ambition, because they are the ones who are grown up post we got independence, even we got, so most of it, it's very West orientation. In any case, we know that IIMS is all about Harvard training and all about MIT training. So when Shankarananji was mentioning about cooperation, I was wondering, that in CGPA setup, how do you do cooperation where one is pitted against another, where the competition is the only word which our student understands, and we do witness what he was talking about, the bitterness or the anger. He was mentioning about the 2 outputs. So, and as I said, then how do we help them understand IKS? We also understand, especially this generation, we have to give them their examples. See, Mark Zuckerberg came to India, Steve Jobs came to India, and this is where they got their wisdom. And we know that India, and outside also, if many of you would have been there in IKS stall, they had listed all of them, whether it was Einstein or Twain or anyone else, and they were mentioning that most of them have acknowledged that whatever progress the Western world made subsequently was predominantly on the generations or the work which had been done by ancient civilization like ours. So they come to us. We had a written tradition. again, as I was mentioning, palm leaves and all the stuff which was given to us, all inherited. So whether you go to Kanchi, there are stories and stories full of palm leaves, and everywhere else lying idle. Or the tradition of Shruti, or that grandmas telling us the wisdom and the tradition, that's also lost, courtesy the joint family networks that we all have grown up with. So storytelling is also pretty much lost. In this world, when all of it is lost, then what are we really looking at, and what is West coming to us to look up for? For sure, they are coming to us. Now, all of us are researchers. We know that any body of knowledge is created by first reviewing what has been there and then adding on some extra what we can possibly do. And we possibly do not have a competitive advantage because we do not understand what has been done erstwhile. Our children are only studying Western curriculum, though we claim that we have a lot of our knowledge. West is coming to us. Go and Google, some of it I have written here. Lot of international universities are establishing Sanskrit setups, Sanskrit schools, Sanskrit, because they all understand that there is something written in these ancient traditions which they need to know and they need to build on. So lots of universities are doing it. These are the kind of headlines which we see very, very often because people are looking for solutions from India. Now coming back to us, why are we not, and who will finally encash this? Yes, we do get a leverage out of social identity. So we say that, yeah, we all eat haldi and we associate haldi to be very Indian, very Bharatiya. So it's also our shared culture. It's also wisdom which we receive out of it because we do understand over years that haldi has medicinal benefit. But you know what? We stop here. We are not going any further as of now because we're not possibly encashing it, or we're not creating any economic value. We all know that we did lose some patents. Of course, some people have fought back, but somehow all that lost tradition, we have lost it. Yoga is a big industry in US, so is Ayurveda. Now, I also took a note, but I had prepared slides before that, so I do acknowledge this does not capture the entire spirit, and the Bharatiya Gyan Parampara is definitely a better word. But as kind of understanding what is ancient, yes, we have a tradition of 5,000 years, knowledge is available, and then over years we have also seemed to have added on to it. Indian, as we all have finally getting to understand Bharat, and more so, as I say, Akhand Bharat. Again, I would take I come from that part where Akhand Bharat had a capital called Patliputra. So yes, it's all the way from Himalayas to Indian Ocean to Burma to Afghanistan. And knowledge, as we understand the spiritual knowledge, the religious knowledge, and the social, all that yam, niyam, pratyahar, etc. Yes, we have, and when we understand the system, the structured methods that we have used to classify. So IK is for science, IK is for technology and engineering, for maths and social sciences. STEM subjects I'm deleting because, as I said, I come more from business background. So this was something which and we assume, and I know already that IIT Madras, IIT Delhi pretty much are doing a lot of good work here. We are concentrating more on this. So implementing IKS, social and management sciences that we are trying to do at us, we further kind of divide it into 4 subsets: health, wellness, psychology, governance, and public administration. And one thing which I truly appreciate about NEP is either it is past wisdom or it is practical common sense emanating from stakeholders' current requirements. Period. It's as simple as that. So many times when we were busy making campus and we could not read NEP in detail, we still kept on doing all this good stuff. And when we opened up the books, we realized, oh God, it's all NEP. We started BBA program, which is an integrated course with multiple exit. We realized it was NEP. We started, post-corona, we realized wellness is a big space, and we realized that we need to do something about the wellness, physical as well as mental. And we collaborated with medical schools. We realized it was NEP. We created, our own yoga, and we chose mindfulness as our core value, and we started capitalizing and big time working towards it. We realized it was NEP. So it's as simple as that. So yes, we've kind of divided it in 4 verticals, and there are a lot of videos available, good for us. So intention, as I said, I think that's the first stage with which you start. Intention has to be there. The worst thing is either the people who read too much, especially IKS, Indian Knowledge Parampara, they become very detached and they become silent. So then either you look up for them in Himalayas or in the monasteries, but they're not ready to come out and speak to the students. And the ones who are tom-tomming about it possibly have a very, very shallow knowledge about it. So how do we handle it in class is something I am also using this August gathering. Please connect us with people who actually have the real knowledge. We have started pretty much a lot of courses, credit courses, because that's what students would value. Courses on emotional well-being, courses on physical well-being, science of well-being, courses on mindfulness, courses on emotional intelligence, and not just that. Like I'm a marketing professor. Even in marketing, we have sustainability. Okay, so that's it. Okay, thank you so much. So we've got a young school, and anyone ready to discuss it with us will be more than happy. Thank you so much.
I just want to remind our panelists that the panel discussion is on internationalization, and Professor Rangan Banerjee is worried that he will get only 1 minute. No. But jokes apart, you see in our recent G20 meeting, there were several issues on which we could get consensus, and these are all global issues. One of them is the failing economic systems, the uneven economic growth, the issue of extreme poverty, the issue of multidimensional poverty, and then the climate change, and how women and girls do not have opportunities to function at their full potential. No, these are all global issues. Now, to find solutions to global issues, we also should have global exposure. And that is what internationalization of our education will provide us. And that's the reason why we want our education institutions to go and open campuses there. We want foreign universities to come here. And as Professor Shantisri has mentioned, we also have 25% supernumerary seats. You should form groups of universities, promote our universities abroad so that you can bring students and fill up these positions. So this kind of globalization in education should happen. And that's the objective of today's panel discussion, and how it will benefit India and also benefit the world together. So I now request Professor Rangan Banerjee to speak. And sir, you can take 6 minutes.
You give me 1 extra minute. Good afternoon. And it's such a delight to be here and to be the last speaker at the end of the day. I still see there are people there behind. I'd like to first of all compliment the organizers for linking Bharatiya Jnana Parampara and internationalization. If you look at the history of universities, there have been different phases of growth. The first universities, 600 BC to 1200 AD, were all Bharatiya universities, Takshila, Nalanda, Vallavi, Vikramshila. Today, everyone in the audience, do you all know what is internationalization? Raise your hand if you know what is internationalization. Okay, I think many people are not